All right, I don't even know where to start. I guess we'll just dive straight into what looks like the basic ones at the top here. We have Fire, Water, Earth, and Air Strike. These are all your basic level 1, 4, 7, and 11 spells or some shit. There is no denying that all of these are immediately F tier spells. They are garbage from day one. Right? Oh, but Wind Strike's like come. Yeah, they're all garbage spells. There's no denying that. I think we can all agree that every Mind Rune combat spell on the standard spellbook is just hot garbage, and you want to get off them as soon as you can. Fire Strike on honorable mention, I guess so, because you kind of like Witch's House and send it, so we can give it an E strike for that purpose. But its purpose is immediately eliminated as soon as you have access to Chaos Runes. Essentially, you get yourself a Fire Staff, you're gaming. Which will go with these ones here. I'm going to try to do them in some sort of order if I can notice them at the time. Wind Bolt again is another F tier spell. Almost never use that Water or Earth Bolt unless you just happen to have the runes on you. So these can all go F tier. But Firebolt is absolutely one of the key spells that you would use more often than not early levels, because it's actually not too bad of an experience rate. It's a lot cheaper than using Ivan's Blast or Death Strikes. Great way to farm your blue dragons and stuff. You know, Chaos Gauntlets are underrated. They are a little bit. People use them. So Firebolt's actually going to go C tier for being a moderately decent and usable spell. Quite simple. Water Strike useful for Olm if you're brewed down and trapped in wall. Yes, that's about it. I'll say yes to that, but it's still saying F tier. Okay, that's true because I do actually bring Mind Rune sometimes for that purpose. So okay, fair enough. Still an F tier shit spell. All right, Death Rune spells. These are actually, gonna be honest with you, all garbage immediately. All shit. You use them for one quest. Well, you actually use them for a couple of quests, but that's it. All Death Rune spells are actually bad because I believe, I could be wrong on this, but I believe that Ivan's Blast is available pretty much at this before Fire Blast, right? Or just around the same level, one level after, which is just better to use in general, right? The death spells are actually really shit. They're not very good spells at all. All those can go over here. It's free to play use. That proves my point. Okay, and we have now Magic Dart, Crumble Undead, Ivan's Blast, and Saradomin. We've got the God Strikes as well. We'll do those ones too. Throw them in. You get out of here. Alright, so Magic Dart is actually pretty decent, provided you're on a Slayer task and you're using the Enchanted one. The problem with that, 59 for Fire Blast, 50 for Ivan. That's even better. Ivan is earlier than Fire Blast and better than it. Magic Dart is only good if you're using the Enchanted stuff on a Slayer task, which is why it is E tier, because otherwise it is fucking dog shit. But it is pretty decent Magic XP per hour at that point. Crumble Undead, very usable on the Lost City quest, on Vorkaf. It has a lot of versatility and is actually considered a pretty decent spell. I rate Crumble Undead as a C tier. It's quite essential to do certain bossing. Has some versatility. I like it. And Ivan's Blast, I think we can all agree, was probably an A tier spell until the Warp Scepter came out. It is now B tier, because if you have access to the Warp Scepter, you'd grab that as soon as possible. Otherwise, Ivan's Blast is great. The only problem is it's a charge staff, but you still have to use runes outside of the charges, and you have to, it's still 5 ticks. It's still kind of garbage, so decent spell, but you want to get off it as soon as you can. Warp Scepter bridges that gap a lot earlier now. Saradomin Strike, Flames of Zamorak, and Claws of Guthix are all F tier garbage. They're all shit. I don't care if you have a unique use for them once or twice. You don't even use them in PVM. They're barely fucking used once you get the cape. They are terrible. They're awful. Ivan's Blast is still best used for early Rex because Warp Scepter is low ranged. You're a fucking dickhead, dude. Okay, Warp Scepter is better than Ivan's Blast, okay? Don't give me this DPS shit, because the reality is you have a Charged Scepter that is 4 ticks, which allows you to do Solar Olm at a much lower point in the game. You don't have that 1 tick delay from manual casting, and you have access to another spellbook because you can use the Warp Scepter. Warp Scepter is infinitely better than the Ivan's Blast, no matter what gender, color, or size you are. There's no... DPS doesn't fucking matter when every other utility around the spell is dog shit. Ivan's Blast is terrible. As soon as you have Warp Scepter, you jump on it. DPS doesn't matter when you can also use Thralls alongside it. You're more movable and mobile, and you have access to even, I guess, Venge if you're that down bad on Mage Gear. Ivan's Blast is dead as soon as you get Warp Scepter. It is infinitely better. Moving on. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. Next is the wave spells. Charged stars destroyed spells in general? Yes, they did. Oh, there's another one in here somewhere. I can't see it. There's another one somewhere, an airwave. The wave spells are actually also kind of dead. No one really casts these spells unless you just happen to have blood runes on you. Used to until Wraith Runes came out. So these again are kind of... they might be E tier because I guess they can still be used. Nah, they're not. Charged staves have really just ruined everything in this game when it comes to these sort of spells. You just don't really cast these anymore. Unless you're like desperate. You just kind of, yeah, you throw them in the bin. Firewave with Tome is still okay in Cox. It is, but that's it. You know, and that's if you don't like that. That's because you're stuck between not having the magical runes for the Wraith spell, or you're not like venging or using thralls at the end of the day. You know, you're using it just for one fucking rune. That's it. It's good XP. That's not a good enough reason to make it a decent combat spell. You know. Seems to be a lot of OG spells that become more relevant with combat defense updates. Possibly, yes. The combat defense updates should improve a lot of these, but all the elemental shit, it's just kind of... They're kind of just garbage at the end of the day now, you know? Maybe his tier list will change significantly with elements. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. There's another one somewhere. I just can't find the air one in here. Curse. What the fuck are these? Can someone help me with these ones? There's another one, another lot of them somewhere, right? Fuck off. It's in the back there. Anyways, we've got... Grid them all up and put them in F. Well, that except vulnerability could probably go E tier, because vulnerability has... As much as I think the idea of resetting Tecton just because you missed your stuns is the cringest and most cope fucking idea in Call of Duty when it comes to Cox. Like, vulnerability is pretty nice to use in there still. Fuck you, the God spells are for PvP. How often do you use the God spells in PvP though, Nate? Like, I guess maybe Pures use them or something, but I've never seen people using them in PvP competitively. Or even remotely, right? Pures? Do Pures not use Ancient still? All the time? Use them brewed down and they also reduce your opponent's magic level? For argument's sake, I will bring them to D tier for that purpose. But otherwise, can you fuck off? Thank you. Fucking lock the background. Alright. Go away. Alright. Oh my fucking god. Photoshop is so cringe with its fucking hotkeys. Alright. Otherwise, yeah, I'd never... The fact that they are PvP only, I guess, makes them kind of limiting outside of that. Godstar spells were all before Tome. Like Tones of Fire and stuff. When I was a kid, if you had a Sarah Staff, you were a Chad? Yes. That's absolutely right. Well, the Sarah Strike reduces magic as well, right? Reduces magic, prayer level or something. You can smite people with it. Anyways, these are all garbage, except vulnerability can go E tier for its utility in Tecton, which I know goes against what I said about like Firewave and stuff, but it's my tier list. I do what I want. Vulnerability can go E tier, alright? What else do we got here? We have Earth Surge, Fire Surge, Water Surge, and Wind Surge. Oh, there we go. Wind Wave. There you go. Cheeky little boy. Straight into F tier where you belong. Now, Fire Surge, we can argue, I guess, could go B tier because it is incredibly powerful. Even outside of Chambers as a Tome of Fire. Very good in PvP as well. Very strong Harmonized Orb. That, like, if you're going to use one of the spells, you use the Fire Surge. You don't really touch the Earth, Water, or Wind because you have a Tome of Water, I guess, but completely pointless when you can just use the Tome of Fire. So Fire Surge definitely goes B tier because it's where it's maximized the potential of the Tome of Fire and everything. Everything else is F tier just because it's shit and never used. Fastest barrel runs also with Fire Surge? Probably. I wouldn't have a clue. Now we have Teleblock. Anything else in the standard spellbook? Snare, Bind, and Entangle, and Charge. And I think that's mostly it for the standard spellbook. Teleblock, probably an S tier spell. absolutely powerful. If you are in the wilderness and you are getting attacked by a PK while bossing, if you throw the tully block down and start switching to a ballista or an Abbey dagger or something, they're likely going to freeze you and log out, because tully block scares a lot of people in the wilderness. Once you can't get away and you're skulled, that's it. Charge is pretty like E tier. You use it. I guess if you're using it PvP, you can go D tier then, make them stronger. Otherwise, charge is kind of just, it's a very unique spell to only power these spells, right? It doesn't do anything else. Entangle is pretty A tier, very strong, very good at freezing. And then Snare and Bind can go C tier because they're just Entangle but worse for low level people. But since the Blooded Sacks have come out, they've become a lot more versatile. But they're still just for lower level people trying to freeze at lower level PKing stages. And that's about it. We only have 2 Lunar combat spells, is that correct, guys? There's only 2, Venge and Venge Other. Which, if that's the case, Venge Other. I mean, I think Venge is an S tier spell. It's great. I love it. I think it's awesome. Venge Other is probably S tier 2. I think, let me think for a second. Venge, if you cast Venge Other, you can't cast it again for 30 seconds, but you can still have Venge cast on you, I believe, right? Does Cure Me count? Probably not, no. Venge Other easy F tier because fuck helping people. Right. I think Venge Other is probably S tier as well. I was probably going to put it A tier. It's a lower level than Venge though, so... Yeah, I think S tier is fine. Why not? Okay. Ghostly Grasp, Skeletal Grasp, and Undead Grasp. I don't even know what these do. All I know is that Ghostly and Skeletal Grasp is F tier. Like, I can't imagine using it. I don't know where anyone would use it unless you can come up with an argument, guys. Then it's F tier. But Undead Grasp, guys, this, alright? This is automatically a B tier spell without fucking question. Okay? B tier spell, let me tell you why. Because when you have your rune pouch and you have the Thrall runes in it, you can also cast that spell. Might not sound too important, but when you go to Chambers of Xeric, for example, and you accidentally forget to charge your staff, that spell comes in handy to finish off getting a Olm kill deathless. Undead Grasp is legitimately a lifesaver if you brought Thralls to a raid, because it's on tap all the time whenever you need it, and that alone is why it is B tier. It's there for you when you least expect it, when you accidentally run out of charges. What is this? Oh, the same pictures. Okay, so Resurrect, Zombie, Skeleton, and Ghost. Obviously, we're just going to compare these at the highest level of Thrall because any other level is a waste of fucking time. Now, I think that the logic is the Skeleton the damage is applied 1 game tick earlier with the Skeleton. Is that correct, guys? And then the Ghost is meant to be... Maybe it was the Ghost. The Skeleton or the Ghost does. I can't remember. They keep changing it. Michael, what's up, man? Good to see you. So I think whichever one it is, I think the Skeleton, the Ghost is 1 tick earlier. Is it? Okay, so the Ghost can go B tier. No, I can go A tier. Oh. Can they be S tier? Can Thralls be S tier? I feel like Thralls can be S tier, but like they kind of restrict you away from every other spell opportunity. While Thralls would be great, you don't have access to Fire Wave, which limits like other parts of a raid. You don't have access to Venge, which is just all around a great fucking spell. But at the same time, if you're not using magic, you just Thrall everything, right? At the same time, no Ancients, yeah. I feel like Thralls probably could be... Tell you what, Skeleton and Ghost are going to be A tier, okay? And Zombie's going to be S tier because he's a fucking unit, okay? He's a melee attack that can hit Avian Seas, which is fucking Chad. So purely because the Zombie's a fucking unit, he can go S tier. It's still a bit of controversy, you know, people won't like that, but it's true. The Zombie is the best. Gary Abbott is the way to fucking go. If you're using Thralls and you're not using the Zombie, you're a fucking coward. So, absolutely. While the Ghost does the extra damage in the Nightmare, the Zombie's still fucking Chad. Mark of Darkness, Mark of Arceus, Demonic Bane. This is all shit. Like, the only time you use these spells... I don't even know what the fuck Dark Lure is. But the only time you use these spells is when you're trying to do combat achievements. There's no way people are legitimately using these spells in combat, right? Demon Bane not half bad. Yeah, but where are you using Demon Bane? Like, where are you using it? Where you're not using like an Arclight. Dark Lure is useful for Poro hunting imps. That's not combat. Immediately F tier. Dark Lure makes stuff that runs away from you, walk towards you. Okay. With the cost changes, Demon Bane is pretty good on Ice Demon if you don't have Tome. Can you bring Demon Bane and Thralls in one pouch? Just started Kree grinding. Would you recommend Thralls over Blood Barrage? Always use Thralls in Kriara. Using Blood Barrage in Kriara is stupid. Your Kriara trip is determined by your food drops. You can? Okay, then we can give Demon Bane a bit of love. If you can bring Thralls at the same time, then it sounds useful. We can go C tier. Mark of Arceus at Krill at low magic. What's the point? That's silly. Demon Bane is only used for Krill combat achievement. That's what I thought too. But this is all just like combat achievements crap. It's all just shit. I can't imagine ever using it, ever. Like looking at tiers like this, you can see how many terrible useless spells are in this fucking game already, hey? Blood spells. I think we can all agree that Blood Barrage is pretty much a fucking S tier spell immediately. It's a lifesaver, it's a game changer. It brings everything you want to the table. And Blood Blitz is a close second purely because it's pretty much a guaranteed soak kill. And mid-level magic, it's still really strong on single targets. Whereas bursting and rushing can probably just go, I mean, rush is fucking, no one uses rush at all. Rush is shit. Blood burst, you can use at like D tier if you get the rune drops, but you're never prepared to use a blood burst, sorry. Smoke. What's smoke used for, guys? Other than nothing. I don't think smoke's used at all, is it? Rush is for Seren. Blitz is for Seren. For demons, Leviathan. Is it Smoke and Leviathan or Shadow? Smoke's only good at barraging Abbey Demons. Even then, I disagree completely. I think Ice is better on Abbey Demons at the end of the day. Shadow's for Leviathan and Sire, guys, not Smoke. Smoke is for Sire? No, Shadow's Sire as well. Shadow's both, right? Smoke is Sire, is it? I haven't done the Sire in that long. I can't remember. I thought it was all Shadow. I'm pretty sure it's Shadow. Smoke's poison, that matters. It's not. I'm pretty sure Shadow is what puts cunts to sleep. Smoke is just shit in general. So now we move on to Shadow, which Shadow is a 100% freeze guarantee at Sire and Leviathan goes A tier. The rest of them are pretty much just non-existent, right? I mean, you would use maybe Blitz if you were lower magic for Leviathan, and it's a 75% chance at stunning the Sire, and then the burst is obviously 50% Sire. I don't know if that matters on Leviathan, so I'm pretty sure you cast a Shadow on a big bucket of soup, you'd be correct. The other two Shadows are kind of pointless in my opinion. They're all garbage. Don't Smoke just poison? I think so. And then we have Ice, Rush, Burst, Blitz, and Barrage. Ice Rush, again, completely useless and garbage. Ice Blitz, completely useless and garbage. Ice Barrage is going to go A tier for how powerful it is. XP, great everything, high level requirement, great for PKing. But Ice Burst is going to go S tier because Ice Burst is better than Ice Barrage. But how is it better than Ice Barrage? Let me tell you. It's slightly less XP per hour than Ice Barrage, but a fraction of the cost. The fact that Burst is so much cheaper than barraging, the only time you should be barraging is if you are endgame PVMing like Inferno or something, or you're PKing. Otherwise, you should be Ice Bursting everything else because it's just not worth the money. I get it, main accounts, it doesn't matter, you got the money, that's fine. Ice Burst is just a more cost-effective spell, and it's great, okay? I know the freeze time on Barrage is bigger too, but it really doesn't matter unless you're like tobbing or something. Outside of that, Ice Barrage is still A tier, don't get me wrong. It's only A tier because Ice Burst is S tier. That's the only reason. I think Ice Burst is just a better value spell than Ice Barrage at the end of the day. Everything else in F tier, to be honest, in my opinion, is a dead spell that you could play the game from start to finish and never cast a single one of these spells in F tier, other than maybe once for a combat achievement. and it won't matter. You will forget these spells exist. F tier spells are pretty much irrelevant. E tier have a minor use. D tier would be the same. C tier is where spells are kind of a staple in the game at some point, or they have some sort of impact on PVMing. I'd bump Ice Blitz up to DRE. Ice Blitz, I don't think I've ever really used Ice Blitz unless it's just been there to tag one minion. Multi-PKing, targeting. Oh yeah, you could actually, good call, yeah. Okay. I'll do that, we can go C tier, that's fair. A tier are just great spells all around, and S tier, Zombie is best to throw. Alright, shut up. And everything else in S tier are just great spells that have been staples in combat from the beginning of time. Use Shadow Rush on Leviathan because it's cheap stun rather than using big boy spells. So in Leviathan, does any shadow spell guarantee stunning him? Or is it like the Sire where the barrage is 100%, blitz is 75%, burst is 50%, and rush is 25% chance of it happening? Any of them are guaranteed to stun for the same length of time? That's pretty interesting. Okay. Maybe these can go up a tiny bit then because it doesn't matter what level. This is better for low level players. I think we can agree on that, if that's the case. The duration is different with Sire. It is, and the chance of it landing is different with Sire. So that's good. I like it. Any spell works to go cheapy cost. That makes sense, yeah. Okay, I like it. I rate it. That's the combat spell tier list. This is the easiest room in the raid. It's quite simple. You got a big boy. Look at him, goddamn. Fuck me, look at that boy. It's huge. You got a big boy.